is definitely not an easy thing to do in our conference. We're playing such a great conference. Was really excited to get the two road wins at South Al and at Texas State. Knew that the Texas State game was going to be more of a battle because they're a good team and they're well coached, and I knew that they would be ready for that one. So it was exciting for me to be able to see our team get over the hump in a close one. This past week, playing ULM and Troy, two of the best teams in the league, we had our chances, and I feel confident that we see them again. That I think that there could be a different result. Don't like that we didn't win, but we had our opportunities to win, and we got an opportunity to kind of learn some lessons early so that we don't make those mistakes, towards the end of the season into the conference tournament. So, obviously a tough road swing for us losing those two, but excited to be at home this week against South Al and Old Dominion. But, I had to do a little bit of reflecting because it's frustrated because you feel like you're right there and you want to be over that hump. But, last year through 9 games, we were 1-8 in conference. And this year we're 4-5, which I think it could be better. But we have made progress. We finished strong last year. I think we could finish strong again this year. So excited about getting that first half of conference over with and going to the second half of conference.
Coach, you talked about, just now and also in your post game at Troy about getting over the hump. What is that one thing that's kind of missing to get you there?
I think it's just being able to keep our composure when the game is tight and when the game is on the line. We had some key turnovers, some missed assignments defensively. So it's just things that we just can continue to be better on. We watched the film, and really, we didn't even have to watch as much. We got a lot of kids that already watched the game 3 times, 2 and 3 times. So they were upset about it, had kids crying in the locker room afterwards. So they're not trying to make these mistakes on purpose. It's just we're still going through a learning curve. Yes, we have returners, but we also have a lot of new pieces that didn't play a whole lot at their previous schools that are in situations now that they've never been in before at this level. So just them getting that experience, our returners being able to also lead the way in their experience and being in those type of games. But I feel confident that soon though these conversations are going to shift, and we're not going to be saying, hey, we need to get over the hump. We're going to talk about us winning those games. So I feel confident that, again, I'm excited about where we are. I see a ton of growth in us defensively and offensively. And so we're just going to look to get back on the right track this week.
Coach, it's been a couple games since you've kind of shifted Izzy to more of that point guard spot. What are just some, obviously, the strengths you've seen so far and some of the things she needs to work on now being more predominantly at point guard?
Well, I think if you look at her numbers, I think her numbers are a lot better being the point guard for us because it allows us to put the ball in our playmakers' hands, and she can score it and she can also pass it. It wasn't her fault that she turned the ball over, when we were trying to run a ball screen for her. I should have done a better job of having her off the ball and having her come off of a screen and give her a little bit of relief so that she didn't have to have that pressure up top like that. So that's something we'll definitely be better at next game. I would have never thought that would happen though. So you live with that one because that's your best player. That's your playmaker. She was extremely upset about that, but she's going to move on from it and be okay. But I definitely don't regret the decision to put her at the point. We're much better with her at that spot because, not only can she score, but I think she makes great decisions for us as well. So for her, just to continue to find confidence in it, she hasn't really been asked to be the point guard much at this level. She was in high school, so it's not something that's foreign to her. But just continuing to find confidence in it and continuing to know that she's going to see our opponent's best defense every time. People are going to get in her. They're going to be aggressive. They're going to be physical. And so she's got to continue to figure that out. And you're starting to see her continue to figure that out. And I think you'll see it even more as we go.
Coach, that game at Troy probably looks a lot different without the contributions of Emma Emebere. What did you learn about her in that game, and what can you build on that performance, moving forward?
For me, we were struggling in the paint, and I just needed to make a change. And hats off to Emma because she hadn't played in a while. And I just, we've had multiple conversations of she just got a lot of learning and growing to continue to do. And I told her, I said, there's going to be a point where you're going to get an opportunity, and what you do with that opportunity is on you. And I just felt during that game we just needed some type of momentum swing. And so I decided to put her in there, and she was huge for us. She was a rim protector. She was clean up a lot of things in the paint. She was rebounding the ball. She blocked a bunch of shots. I went back and watched the film, and it was neat to see her really frustrating Troy. They were frustrated when she was in the game. Um, but the downside of that is she got tired pretty quickly because she hasn't played a whole lot. So it was good for me to see because we do have that new option that we can use to help us out in the paint defensively. And then she also scored a couple baskets. So good for us moving forward because I think an issue of ours right now is depth. So glad to see her have a great game. I think that adds another piece that we can use. I also thought Chrislyn Rose came in and gave us some valuable minutes when we were making that run. She was a part of the five that was on the floor. So again, Emma didn't play a whole lot of Lamar. Chris is a freshman. They just don't have that experience. So now seeing that we can throw them out there in those moments and they can take on the challenges, definitely good for me seeing that we can have a little bit more depth.
Coach, you talked a little bit about, just a little bit of the frustration, but needing to reflect a little bit. You look at the conference standings, and 4 of your 5 losses are the teams that are at the top on the road, and most of them very competitive. Do you use that, maybe to tell your kids, hey, look how close you are, that sort of thing?
I appreciate everyone saying that, but just for me as a competitor, I don't use that as an excuse. And I'm not saying that you're saying it in that way, but yeah, we lost to 4 of the top teams, but we had a chance to beat James Madison. We had a chance to beat ULM. We had a chance to beat Troy. And so my message to this team is, yeah, we're right there, but we got to figure this thing out. And we got to do what is required of us to get over this hump, and I told them before the game and after the game, you got to be a part of the solution, not a part of the problem. And you gotta keep digging, and you gotta know that you're this close. And a lot of people give up when it looks like this, right? Winning is hard. Being at the top of the league is hard. Troy didn't just start out being at the top of the league. They had to work to get to where they are. James Madison, they had to work to get to where they are. These programs have been consistently good because they put the work in, and that's just where we are. We're continuing to go through that process of learning how to be good, how to be great, how to win, and we're right there. And I have firm belief that we're gonna get over that hump. But for me, it's yes, I'm encouraging in that point, but also it's got to be a little bit of a push of, hey, we're right there, but now it's time. It's time for us to figure this out. It's time for us to get over the hump. We had 3 games out of the 4 that, in my opinion, we should have won. So moving forward, when we see ULM and Troy on our home floor, we should be ready to go, and we should be so excited and so hungry for that opportunity to get over that hump. And then if we see the others in the tournament, just learning, taking the lessons that we learned, early on in the conference and being able to apply those lessons later on so that we're not in this situation again.